Okay, welcome to the professional development session organized by Bangladeshi engineers and computer science professional of British Columbia. My name is Khaled Hassan and I'm an assistant professor in computer science at UBC Okanagan. I'm also serving as a vice chair for professional development of this organization. Today, we are delighted to welcome Anoar Zahid Mohammed Bhai as the distinguished speaker. He will be discussing practical approaches of project life cycle management. Anoar Bhai has over 25 years of global experience in engineering and construction management, focusing on heavy infrastructure and manufacturing capital projects. Currently, he holds the position of senior leader at Fraser Health Authority, British Columbia. He's also working as an instructor at Brighton College and teaches courses for construction management program. Before joining the Fraser Health Authority, Anoar Bhai worked at separate reputable companies across Canada, USA, and Bangladesh. He holds a BSc engineering in civil engineering from Bangladesh and completed his BTech and MBA in North America. In this professional development session today, Anoar Bhai will be presenting on practical approaches of projects lifecycle management, where he will share insights and strategies drawn from his vast experience. His extensive experience make him as an invaluable resources for today's session. Attendee can expect gain practical knowledges that can directly be applied to their own projects. For the attendee for this session today, please use the chat functionality for any questions, or you can ask questions after the presentation. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Anoar Zahid Bhai for his presentation.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and also good morning. Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you in this PD professional development session, and this will be first PD session this year. Hopefully, we'll have more down the road. So, in this presentation, I'll be talking both in English and also in Bengali because as a professional, I should speak in English, but also as a native Bangladeshi, so we also respect our mother language. So I'll be using the both languages. So আজকের সেশনের topic হলো practical approaches of life cycle management of the project. Mainly, I'll be discussing different aspect of project management, how we can manage our project in a productive way. I shared my screen. I believe everybody can see that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So as you can see, in project management, project manager plays a vital role for the successful project management. And project manager needs to be or responsible for managing his or her project successfully. So you can see on the slides, this is the beginning slide. Project manager কে অনেক ধরনের ঝামেলা ট্যাকেল দিয়ে তার প্রজেক্টকে ম্যানেজ করতে হয়। Political pressure, too many meetings, deadlines, different kind of interruption ম্যানেজ করে তাকে প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজ করতে হয়। Next slide. This is the I would say the beginning slide. You can see my name is Anoar Mohammed. I'm the senior leader and manager for project support and result office at Fraser Health. And let me introduce myself a little bit. I work as a manager for the PSR, project support and result revision. The main responsibility, my responsibility for my division, I do support all the project managers at Fraser Health Facility Management Division. So basically, I support almost 50 project managers and another 50 other technical professionals to manage their projects. The kind of projects I support, like the maintenance project, renovation project, small capital project, big capital projects. The biggest capital project we have, which is almost $2 billion projects. For example, Barnaby Hospital redevelopment, new Sari hospitals. Those are the bigger projects. Also, we have different kind of long-term care facilities projects. So each of these projects over $200 million. So yeah, this is briefly what I have been doing at Fraser Health. So next slide is the project management. So what is project management? It's a set of skills and tools you can apply in managing your project. Principle, practice, techniques, process, procedure you can use to complete your project successfully. One of the biggest knowledge body is called PMI, Project Management Institute. They have a good set of knowledge-based process, procedure, and policy. You can find under PM book. I believe the latest version of the PM book is edition 7. So you can find all the process, policy, and procedure how you can manage a project. But the project management is not a real science. It's art of doing thing. So you don't need to follow the PM book or PMI guideline. You need to customize your process policy, project management policy depend on your organization needs. Also, the project management has a long history. Almost 4,000 years ago, when we built the pyramid, we did use the project management. Then nowadays, project management needs more attention because we have less amount of resources, less amount of money, and we have urgency of completing different kind of projects. So we need to use our project management skill and capability more efficiently right now. So that is why we have so many policies, procedures, and systems in place, and in future we'll be introducing more policy, procedure, and systems. By the way, like this, I would like to have this session much interactive, even though I will have 15 minutes at the end of this presentation for questions and answers. So if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me and with your questions. Project management, actually with this, I will try to finish this presentation in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So, but project management is a vast area of knowledge. So you cannot expect within 1 hour, 2 hours to complete all the knowledge areas of the project management. What I will be talking about different approaches of managing your project, and what will to be done, that I will be discussing. How to be done, that needs more discussion, more discussions of how you can do that, but I will be specifically mention about what to be done. You can see this slide. There are a lot of challenges right now in managing projects. We don't have sufficient resources, qualified resources, project management knowledge. So you can see here these are the main challenge. Opportunity, we have a lot of opportunity in project management. As you can see on the down of the slide, project management is now evolving in more transforming digitally. So, and it becomes a database kind of knowledge. So, as you can see, that all systems now becoming database system, information systems. Project management information system, ERP system, enterprise resource planning system. So it becoming more robust, and it can contain a lot of data. So based on the data, you can make decisions and you can manage your projects. So yeah, so these are the new developments in project management. So in future, we'll be more focusing on how the governments, different kind of dashboard reporting, different kind of KPIs, key performance indicators measurement. Those are the future prospect of project management. So what is a project? Project is a series of activities, and it has specific objectives to complete. It has defined start and end. It has funding or resource limitation. And it should produce an unique product or service. So basically, a project should have a start and finish. That's the bottom line of a project. If your activity keeps continue a certain like continuously running, then it's not a project. This you can term as an operation. Project life cycle. So we have from a project perspective, it has different kind of phases: initial phase, intermediate phase, final phase. So I will show in the next slide what are the phases. Okay, so on this slide, you see the project should be started a request from a concerned person. So you need to have request of a new project. Then once we have request, we can verify that request, and we can initially assess that request. And if we accept that request, then we can go to the next phase. Then it goes to the planning phase: scoping, feasibility, and implementation. So basically, from starting to finish, you have initial intake, then planning. Under planning, you need to do the scoping, and you need to do the feasibility. And then once your feasibility is done and you accept the feasibility approval, then you can go to the next phase of the project, which is implementation. So under implementation, you will do the design, you will do the construction, you will do the go live, or and then after the completion of that project, it can go to the operation. phases. Another thing, you can define your project life cycle into 3 phases: initiating, planning, executing, and controlling. So under initial phase, you can actually authorize your project. You have different kind of feasibility study, scoping, then you can authorize your project. মুজিব ভাই, আপনার হ্যান্ড, any question?
হ্যাঁ, আমি জাস্ট সরি, আমি একটু ভিডিও ট্রাই করছি। আমি যদি বোঝার জন্য, আপনার হয়তো অনেক বড় স্কেলে এটা হয় যে আপনার প্রজেক্ট অ্যাসাইনের পরে দেন ডিজাইন হয়। বা অনেক সময় কি এরকম হয় যে আমরা আগে প্রজেক্ট ডিজাইন হওয়ার পর দেন প্রজেক্ট অ্যাসাইন হয় পিএমওতে? আমি দেখেছি, স্পেশালি আমাদের কোম্পানি দেখেছি, আমরা যখন একটা প্রজেক্টের একটা ইনিশিয়ালি যেটা হয় ওইটা হলো গিয়া প্রজেক্ট কনসেপশন করা হয়। অবশ্যই পিএমও মে অর মে নট বি ইনভলভ, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং সেকশন। ওয়ান্স ডিজাইন কমপ্লিট হয় বা অথবা আমরা একটা টেকনিক্যাল অপশন অ্যানালিসিস অথবা যাকে ফ্রন্ট এন্ড ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং ডিজাইন এটা আপনি বলতে পারেন, এটা যখন হয়ে যায় দেন ফাইন্ডস দ্যাট অপশনস, দেন প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্টকে দেওয়া হয় ফর এক্সিকিউশন। সো এটা সম্ভবত লার্জ স্কেলে গিয়ে আপনি যেটা বললেন যে they consider the project say Portman Bridge replace করতে হবে, so they call it a project and they start designing everything right to the project. Or is in a smaller scale possibly ওইখানে ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং ডিজাইনটা হয়তো অনেক সময় আগে হতে পারে। জাস্ট একটা থট।
না, আপনি যে ঠিকই বলছেন, বাট smaller projected জন্য when it goes to the design or construction, it can start as a project. কিন্তু যদি large scale bigger project সাধারণত during the planning যখন শুরু হয় তখনই আসলে প্রজেক্ট হিসেবে এটা শুরু হয়। কারণ প্ল্যানিং শুরু হলে তখনই একটা রিসোর্স অ্যালোকেশন করতে হয়, একটা নির্দিষ্ট টাইম থাকে যে এই টাইমের মধ্যে আমাকে প্ল্যানিংটা শেষ করতে হবে। It depends on the size and complexity of the project. এখন আপনি যদি ধরেন $100,000 একটা প্রজেক্টের জন্য আপনি যখন প্ল্যানিং করবেন তখন খুব একটা রিসোর্সের প্রয়োজন হয় না। ইভেন যখন এটা ডিফারেন্ট কাইন্ড অফ ইভেন যখন এটা ক্যাপিটাল প্রজেক্ট হিসাবে কনসিডার হবে তখন আমরা শুরু করি সাধারণত প্ল্যানিং থেকেই একটা প্রজেক্ট শুরু হয়।
আমাদের ওরকম হয়, ওইটাই আমি বুঝতে চাচ্ছিলাম যে যেখানে সিপিসিএন লাগবে $100 million প্লাস খরচ হবে, তখন PMO is assigned right up front, get involved in the options and CPCN and all those things. Thank you. আমার মনে হয় বাশার ভাই হাত তুলেছেন। বাশার
ভাই,
বাশার মিউট, তুমি মিউট, তোমার কম্পিউটার ওইটা মিউট আছে, আমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছি না। হ্যাঁ,
এখন শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
জি।
Okay, sorry, for technical issues. Anyway, how do you define the small project and bigger project? So do you have any scale to define?
জি, বাশার ভাই, thank you for this question. এখানে বিগার প্রজেক্ট বা স্মল প্রজেক্ট বলে কোনো টার্মিনোলজি নাই। একটা হলো ক্যাপিটাল প্রজেক্ট।
একটু আগে বললেন যেটা মানে আপনি বললেন যে বিগার প্রজেক্টের জন্য মুজিব ভাইয়ের কোশ্চেনের রেফারেন্স আপনি বললেন যে বিগার আর স্মল এবং বিগার প্রজেক্ট, সো এটা ডিফাইন করেন কিভাবে?
বিগার প্রজেক্ট বলতে আমরা বুঝি যেটা ক্যাপিটাল প্রজেক্ট। তো ক্যাপিটাল প্রজেক্টের অলসো ডেফিনেশন আছে। এটা অর্গানাইজেশন টু অর্গানাইজেশন ভ্যারি করে। যখন আমরা প্রিলিমিনারি স্কোপিং বা ফিজিবিলিটি স্টাডি করি তখন যদি আমাদের দেখা যায় কস্ট অফ দ্য প্রজেক্ট মোর দ্যান $500,000, তখন এটা আমরা তাকে ক্যাপিটাল প্রজেক্ট হিসেবে কনসিডার করি। তার মানে ক্যাপিটাল বিগার প্রজেক্ট। If it is less than $500,000, less than $500,000, then we consider it non-capital or smaller project.
Okay, good. Thank you.
But it depends on the organization. Like
right. Yeah.
some of the organization, they consider if the project is more than 5 million, then it considered as a bigger or capital project.
জাহিদ ভাই, you are absolutely right. আমাদের এখানে একটা টার্মিনোলজি আমরা ইউজ করি, সাস্টেইনমেন্ট প্রজেক্ট অফ সার্টেন লিমিট, যেটার জন্য সিপিসিএন এ যেতে হয় না। তারপরে ওর বড় যেটা আছে, তো এটা অর্গানাইজেশনের ভেরি করে বাসার ভাই যেটা বলেছেন।
আমাদের এখানে যেরকম সিপিএসসি আছে, ক্যাপিটাল প্রজেক্ট স্টিয়ারিং কমিটি, they will decide they decide which one would be the capital and which one is with the non-capital.
মানে আমার কোশ্চেনটা ছিল পিমবুক বা আপনার পিএমআই এর কোনো স্টেট ডেফিনেশন আছে কিনা, যে
না, এটা কোনো
ওকে গুড, থ্যাংক ইউ।
ডেফিনেশন নাই আর কি। তো এখানে 5 ফেজ আছে প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্টের। তো আপনি ইনিশিয়াল ফেজে আমরা অথরাইজ করি প্রজেক্ট, তারপরে ইট গোজ টু দ্য প্ল্যানিং phase. In planning phase, we define different kind of planning aspect. Then once planning is done, then it goes to the execution. Then it goes to the monitoring. Actually, monitoring and controlling and execution, those two phases, এটা একসাথে করতে হয়। Then once the project is complete, it goes to the closing phase. On this slide, you can see some of the phases can overlap with each other. You can see, as you can see in this slide, is a self-explanatory. বুঝতে পারবেন যে এখানে কিছু কিছু ফেজ আছে যেগুলা একটার সাথে আরেকটা ওভারল্যাপ করে। Planning, I would say planning phase actually at the continuous process. And also in project management, planning is very important. So you need to spend at least 30 to 40% of your time in planning. If you plan good, then your implementation will be better. There are two kinds of project management, two types of project management. One is called traditional project management or waterfall project management. And another is called agile project management or Scrum project management. So I'm not going to read all the things because we have limitation of time. And if you read those things, then I need more time, but we don't have time. So basically, waterfall is the project is a traditional project management style. Is a sequential, linear, and it has several discrete phases. On the other hand, agile project management is not a sequential process. I would say it is a rotational. The phases are rotational. You can go back to previous phase any time of your project and continue your work. In the next slide, you will see what is the difference between waterfall and agile method. So basically, you see under waterfall method, basically you need to finish one phase and then you go to the next phase. You finish your requirement, then you go to the design phase. Once design is done, then it goes to the implementation, then testing and development. It's kind of waterfall, like one after one, another. So that is the approach we follow in waterfall method. Basically, all the construction projects, we try to use the waterfall method, but also it depends on nature of the project. So I would say this waterfall method mainly we use in construction projects. So another type is agile or Scrum flow projects. So you can see on the right side. So is a rotation. There is one phase. You don't need to finish one phase to go into the another phase. So it's a rotational thing. So you plan, then you design, then you develop, you test, you deploy, you review, then you can go back. If your review is not satisfactory, you can still go back to your design phase again. So the agile approach is mainly used in software development projects, IT projects, because there is a lot of uncertainty in software and IT projects. That's why we need to use the agile method. You can see in this slide that what are the difference between the waterfall and agile. So yeah. Another aspect of difference between agile and waterfall method, mainly you can see on this chart that we use the agile method when your scope of your project is not clearly defined. That is the main driving force so that you can use the agile method. On the other hand, waterfall method, your scope is clearly defined. You know what to do, what you need to deliver, then you can use the waterfall method. So this is the main difference of between the waterfall and agile method. Any question before I move into the next slide? Okay. So in project management, there are many areas of knowledge. You need to know those knowledge area. As per PMI, Project Management Institute, basically there are 9 knowledge area. Project integration management knowledge area, project scope management, time management, cost management, procurement management, quality, human resource, communication, risk management. But if you see the latest version of PM book, 7th edition, they included other knowledge areas too. But in my mind, these are the 9 main areas of project management knowledge area. So in this presentation, I'll not be discussing about the project quality, human resource, and communication management. I'll focus on integration, scope, time, cost, procurement, and risk management. The first knowledge area is the integration management. So what is the integration management? So integration management is the process and activities needed to identify, define, combine, unify, coordinate various project management activities. Basically, you need to think about what are the process, what are the systems, what are the procedure policy you're going to employ in managing your project. You need to plan for that. And you need to integrate those knowledge area, those process, policy, and procedure. That's the thing you are going to do in integration management. For example, if you, let's say, if you have a project schedule and if you have a cost estimate budget. So for example, if you change any of your project schedule, how does it impact of your cost estimate or budget? So these are 2 things, schedule and cost should be linked, should be integrated. So that if you change your schedule and at the same time, your cost or budget will be changed. So you don't need to go in two different places and change it individually. So integrating schedule and cost is a falls into the project integration management. So there are so many other things you can integrate so that you will have an integrated project management system, including all the system, policy, procedure, so that you will see a better picture of how you're managing your project. So that is the one of the aspect of project integration management. And most often we don't focus on integration. That's why we spend a lot of time in managing project to find different information, different things. If you have a good integration management, then you will spend less time in managing project.
আচ্ছা, আমাদের মনে হয় একটা কোশ্চেন আছে মিজান।
জি জি মিজান ভাই।
I'm just add করতে যাচ্ছিলাম এখানে যে one thing that I have found out, especially just because I deal with the compliance of regulation in Transport Canada, I see in the project management, one of the things that affects the total project is the compliance. So there could be, even during the implementation of the project, a regulation can change, like city bylaw or something can change. That might affect the project. So all this, like the subject that we are talking about, that also influences the integration, cost, time, the total project management portfolio can change with that.
Yeah. Absolutely right, Mizan bhai. If you integrate your system in one place, if your compliance or regulation change, then you need to change in just one place. Then it will update all the system. So how is going to affect your project? You can see in a real time. During the project integration management, you need to do some work. So what are the things you need to do? You need to create project charter. You need to prepare project plan. You need to have some kind of direction, how you are going to manage the project execution, how you are going to track and control your project activities, how you can initiate the project closing. So there are so many things you can do. I'm showing here the 7 things you need to do, but it's not an hard and fast rule. So depends on your organization, nature of the project. You can customize what are the things you can do in project integration. So most importantly, you need to create a project charter first, in the first place. Let me see, what is the project charter? So you need to create a document. It's a very short 1-page document that what is the project, what is the business need of your project, what is the scope of your project, what are the deliverables, risk, assumptions, what are the milestone schedule, what is the budgeted amounts. Just 1 page of brief summary of your project. A project charter should not be more than 1 page long. I see some of the organizations, they create project charter like 5-6 pages, but it's not good. Like if it should be just 1 page brief description of project. And you need to take the approval of this project charter from your steering committee, from your boss or your VP. Without approving your project charter, you should not move forward your project. আমরা অনেক সময় ভুল করে থাকি, মানে প্রজেক্ট চার্টারটা অ্যাপ্রুভ করার আগেই আমরা প্রজেক্টের কাজ শুরু করে দেই। Project charter will give you the authorization to move forward. That's the first thing you need to do.
আচ্ছা, আমি একটা জিনিস জানতে চাচ্ছি যে এই প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট ইয়েটা কি মানে সবসময় উপর থেকেই আসতে হবে নাকি ইট ক্যান স্টার্ট এট এনিওয়্যার ইন দ্য অর্গানাইজেশন?
এটা আসলে যেটা হয় সেটা হলো যে প্রজেক্ট শুরু হয় মাস্টার প্ল্যানিং থেকে। একটা অর্গানাইজেশনে একটা মাস্টার প্ল্যান থাকে যে এই প্রজেক্টগুলো আমরা করব, মানে ডিফারেন্ট টাইম লাইনে। তারপরে প্রত্যেকটা প্রজেক্টের একজন ইনিশিয়েটর থাকবে। আম, সেই সে ইনিশিয়েট করবে প্রজেক্ট, সে প্রজেক্ট চার্টার করবে, অ্যাপ্রুভ করবে, তারপরে ইট গোস টু দ্য ডিফারেন্ট ফেজ। ইট
মাস্টার প্ল্যানের
আইডিয়া।
বাইরে কোনো প্রজেক্ট আসতে পারে, তাই না?
জি,
মাস্টার প্ল্যানের বাইরেও তো কোনো
হ্যাঁ, মাস্টার
incidental-
প্ল্যানের বাইরেও আসতে পারে। মাস্টার প্ল্যানটা হলো যে আপনার সাধারণত একটা অর্গানাইজেশনের উপর নির্ভর করে। কোনো অর্গানাইজেশন প্রতি বছরই মাস্টার প্ল্যানটা আপডেট করে, কোয়ার্টারলি, অথবা কেউ কেউ 5 বছর পর পর আপডেট করে। মাস্টার প্ল্যানের বাইরেও আসতে পারে। সেটা স্টিয়ারিং কমিটির অ্যাপ্রুভাল নিয়ে সেটা হয়তো পরে মাস্টার প্ল্যানে পরে ঢুকানো যেতে পারে। তপু।
আমাদের তো মনে হয় yes.
হ্যাঁ, আমরা তো ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং প্রজেক্টে ধরেন ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং ডিভাইস গুলো কম্পিউটারে সিমুলেট করে আগে ল্যাব টেস্টের আগে আমরা একটু আইডিয়া নিতে চাই যে এটা ল্যাব টেস্ট করার সময় কাজ করবে কিনা ইন রিয়েলিটি। তো প্রজেক্ট, একটা লার্জ স্কেল প্রজেক্ট কি মানে এক্সিকিউট করার আগে এরকম কম্পিউটারে সিমুলেট করার কোনো ওয়ে আছে যে র্যান্ডম ভেরিয়েবলস, আনসার্টেনটি এগুলো অ্যাড করে সেটাগুলোকে সিমুলেট করা এবং দেখা যে কি অবস্থা হবে কিনা?
না, এখানে কথা হলো যে তুমি এটা করতেছো, তোমার তো আম, একটা রিসোর্স ইউজ করতেছো, তোমার নিজের টাইম অথবা তুমি দু একজনকে ইউজ করতেছো করার জন্য, তাই না?
হুম হুম।
সেই ক্ষেত্রে তুমি এটা করতে পারো না। তোমাকে প্রথমে টেস্ট করার জন্য তোমাকে একটা ফেজ শুরু করতে হবে। ইউ নিড টু গেট অ্যাপ্রুভাল টু ইউজ দ্য রিসোর্সেস এন্ড মানি।
না ভাই, আমি বলতে চাচ্ছিলাম পুরো এনভায়রনমেন্টটাকে কম্পিউটারে মিমিকিং করে সেটাকে সিমুলেট করা যায় কিনা। যেরকম একটা বিশাল বড় হসপিটালে যদি কোনো ডিজাস্টার সিচুয়েশন হয়, আমাদের কয়টা বেড খালি আছে, কয়জন ডক্টর ডিউটিতে আছে, নার্স কয়জন, এগুলো ভেরিয়েবল গুলো কম্পিউটারে অ্যাড করে সিমুলেট করে কোনো প্রেডিক্টিভ অ্যানালাইসিস করা যায় কিনা, বা এই ধরনের প্রজেক্ট অ্যানালাইসিসেও কি সিমুলেশনের ব্যবহার আছে
হ্যাঁ,
কিনা?
এটা ইউজ করা হয় আর এখন আমাদের। এটা আমি পরে হয়তো সময় থাকলে আসবো আর কি। তো
আচ্ছা, মুজিব ভাইয়ের মনে হয় কোশ্চেন আছে একটা।
না, কোশ্চেন না, আমি আমি জাস্ট শুধু বলতে চাচ্ছি যে আমাদের এখানে মাল্টি ডিসিপ্লিনারি এবং অনেক এক্সপার্ট বিভিন্ন অর্গানাইজেশন আছে। তো তো আমাদের ওইটাই রিকগনাইজ যদি করি যে প্রত্যেকটা অর্গানাইজেশনের প্রত্যেকটা ডিফারেন্ট টাইপ অফ, যেমন আইটি রিলেটেড ভার্সাস, যেমন আমি আমার যদি বলি যে আমাদের যে ভাইয়ের সাথে একটু রিলেট করা যায় যে এক্স্যাক্টলি না হলেও যে স্টেক হোল্ডার্স আছে তাদের দায়িত্ব যে কখন প্রজেক্টটা ইনিশিয়েট করবে, এবং ওইটার যে মাস্টার প্ল্যান যেটা বলেছেন ওই মাস্টার প্ল্যান কুড বি শর্ট টার্ম, যে আমরা বিকজ end of the day that needs money, any project you need that is money. If you just say okay I need to do this today, you cannot do that. So you need to have a plan, then those who are planning, তো এই ধরনের আর কি আমরা যদি রিলেট করি তাহলে ভালো হবে। এক্স্যাক্টলি হয়তো আমার অর্গানাইজেশনের সাথে মিলবে না, ভাই যেটা বলেছেন ওনারটা হি ইজ কামিং ফ্রম দ্য ভেরি বিগ প্রজেক্টস এবং ওদের একটা মোর স্ট্রাকচার ফ্রেম। সো আমার কাছে এটা মনে হচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, একটা অর্গানাইজেশন টু অর্গানাইজেশন ভ্যারি করে আর কি। তো তপু, আরো কোশ্চেন আছে তোমার?
না ভাই।
আচ্ছা, ওকে। নেক্সট থিং ইউ নিড টু ক্রিয়েট এ প্রজেক্ট প্ল্যান। তো একটা প্রজেক্ট প্ল্যান, এটা ইন্টিগ্রেশন ম্যানেজমেন্টের ভিতরে পড়বে। প্রজেক্ট প্ল্যান, আপনি একটা প্রজেক্ট কিভাবে ম্যানেজ করবেন সেটা আপনাকে ক্রিয়েট করতে হবে। ইট ডিপেন্ডস অন দ্য নেচার অফ দ্য প্রজেক্ট। A project plan can be 50 page long, 100 page long. I saw like the project plan 1000 page long. প্রজেক্ট প্ল্যানের মধ্যে এইখানে যে স্লাইডটা আছে এখানে এইগুলো ইনক্লুড করতে হবে। হাউ ইউ আর গোয়িং টু ম্যানেজ ইউর টাইম, হাউ ইউ আর গোয়িং টু ম্যানেজ ইউর কস্ট, কোয়ালিটি, রিস্ক, how you are going to manage your stakeholders. So all things has to be written in a project plan. So if you have the project plan, then it's going to be easier for you to manage your project. So I think I mentioned before that you need to spend a lot of time in planning. I'd say 30-40% of whole duration of project life cycle you need to spend in planning. The next knowledge area is scope management, how you are going to manage your project scope. So what will be the project product at the end? If you want to তুমি যদি এক কথায় বলতে চাও যে স্কোপটা কি জিনিস, প্রজেক্ট স্কোপটা কি, তুমি বলতো what will be the project product or service at the end, what you want to deliver. So if you can find out that and manage that scope, then you will be fine. So in scope management, you can do several things, like you can plan how you're going to manage. You need to collect the requirement, you need to define the scope, create work breakdown structure, validate your scope, how you can control your scope. These are the process groups in scope management. And scope is one of the main pillar of your project management. As a project manager, what you will do, your responsibility to manage the project scope, project timeline, project cost, and quality. So these are the main pillar of your project managers. So the project manager are responsible to managing all 3-4 things. Topo, তোমার hands up দেখতেছি, any question?
No, sorry, ওটা
Okay.
আগেরটা আমি
Okay, so in scope management, you need to have a clear definition what you are going to deliver at the end of your projects. So these are the process group. So I'm not going to discuss all the process group under scope management. Maybe a couple of things I'll be discussing. So I'll be discussing how you can define project scope. You need to create a project scope statement. And these are the 4 things you need to do: create a project scope statement. And it should not be more than half page. You need to find out what are the objectives of your project, what are the deliverables, what are the product or service you are going to deliver, when you are going to deliver, and what are the constraint or assumption you have to deliver your project. So these are the main 4 things you need to have in project scope statement. So next thing, you need to create a work breakdown structure. Basically, you need to decompose your scope into defined subsections. You are going to break down of your scope in many deliverables. So, for example, for construction project, let's say you are going to construct a house. This is your main scope. You can decompose your whole scope into many subsections. So in order to deliver your house, construct your house, you need to do those things. You need to do first preparation. You need to have structural steel design, bricks, slab, mechanical, electrical thing, all the things you need to do. It's not a hard and fast that you need to break this way. You can divide in your own way, so that you can manage different activities. And your work breakdown structure is very important, because it will give you the framework of developing your project schedule and cost estimate. So if you can break down your scope in different layers, you can create a good project schedule, and also you can create an most accurate budget. Unfortunately, most of the project managers, they don't know what is WBS. They don't know how to develop a WBS. So this is a very important concept. So the next section is how you can manage your project time. So you need to create a project schedule. And this is a very important area of your project, knowledge area. As you can see, in your whole project, most of the conflict in your project, I would say more than 50% of conflicts is schedule related. Either your schedule is not right or you are not assigning proper resources to the different activities. So if you develop your project schedule more accurately, then you'll have less change orders during the implementation and you'll have less problem. To create a schedule, there's certain steps you can follow. You need to define your project activities. You need to sequence activities. You need to estimate resources for those activities. And you need to estimate duration, and then you can develop your project schedule, and then you can control your schedule. As you can see, there are different techniques of developing project schedule. You can use different diagramming method to develop your project schedule. I'm not going to discuss this because it needs hours of hours discussion. So basically, you need to create a project schedule. In your project schedule, once you develop a project schedule, so you need to find out the critical path of your project. So what is the critical path and what is the critical activities? The critical activities are those activities that you cannot be delayed. That means those activities you need to finish on time. It cannot be delayed. মিজান ভাই আপনি যদি একটু মিউট করতেন, সরি।
আমি মিউট করে দিচ্ছি।
আচ্ছা, তো critical activities are those activities which you need to finish in time. আপনি যদি একটা critical activity কে ডিলে হন, তাহলে আপনার whole project will be delayed. That's why it is important to find out the critical activities in your project. And the following slide, you see that there's in this project we have 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 activities. Some of the activities are critical. You can see the task A, B, E, G, and A's. These are the critical activities. And the 3 activities, D, F, and C, those are non-critical activities. So you can be delayed on non-critical activities. If you delay non-critical activities, that's not going to be delayed your whole overall completion of your project. And if you get delayed in the critical activities, then your entire project will be delayed. So that is why you need to, this is important to find out the critical activities of your project, so that you can put more resources, you can put more attention to complete all those critical activities. Mujib bhai, question. Mujib bhai, apni mute.
আচ্ছা, এটা হয়তো আপনি পরে বলবেন, তারপর আমি এখানে বলি সিপিএম ক্রিটিক্যাল পাথ মেথড একটা মেথড যেটা দেখে যে ওয়ান ইজ দ্যাট যেটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট, আর একটা হলো যে ইন্টারডিপেন্ডেন্সি, যে আমরা যদি একটা মোবিলাইজেশন না করি তাহলে আমরা কনস্ট্রাকশন শুরু করতে পারবো না, একটা ক্রোড এক্সাম্পল। অথবা আমরা কাজ করতে গিয়ে পার্টিকুলার একটা কাজ কমপ্লিট না হলে এর পরের কাজটা করা যাবে না। So এইটা হলো ক্রিটিক্যাল পাথের ওয়ান ইজ দ্য ইম্পর্টেন্স অফ দ্যাট কাজ, আর একটা হলো গিয়ে যে ইন্টারডিপেন্ডেন্সি, দ্যাট একটা শেষ হওয়ার পরে আর একটা শুরু হতে পারে।
You're right. So যখন আপনি schedule develop করবেন, create করবেন, you need to put all the dependency, as you can see on this diagram. Some of the activities you can start at the same time. Some of the activities it should be sequential. One has to be finished before you start the another activities. As you can see here, activity B and C you can start both in the same time, but activity F and G you can start activity G after 15 days completion of FG. So these are the dependency you need to find out during the sequence activity process. This is how you develop. Without putting the proper dependency, your project schedule should not be right, and you will not find the proper critical path. Tapu.
ভাইয়া ক্রিটিক্যাল পাথ যখন নির্ণয় করার ডায়াগ্রামটা দেখালেন, আমি তখন দেখলাম এটা ডিটারমাইন করা হচ্ছে জাস্ট আমাদের মানে নাম্বার অফ ডেইজ এর উপর বেস করে, বাট আমি আরেকটা জিনিস মানে আমার কাছে মনে হচ্ছে বাজেটটা কি এখানে ইম্পর্টেন্ট না? মানে কেন বাজেটটাকে কনসিডার করা হয় না? এক একটা পাথে তো নিশ্চয়ই ডিফারেন্ট ডিফারেন্ট কস্টিং লাগতেই পারে।
হ্যাঁ,
তো
বাজেটটাও অলসো রিসোর্স। যখন তুমি অ্যাক্টিভিটি রিসোর্স এস্টিমেট করবা, রিসোর্স অলসো বাজেট, রাইট? ইট ক্যান বি মানি or any kind of manpower. তো তখন সেটাও কনসিডারেশনে নেওয়া হয়, বাট সেটা হলো যে তোমার যখন কনসিডার করবা, you need to have those inputs into your schedule activities. Then that will also define your right critical activities. It's called resource loaded schedule, but this is is a little bit complicated. But primarily we consider the duration. Then secondary thing, once you have the duration calculation, then we put the resources into the project schedule.
আচ্ছা,
মুজিব ভাই, আপনার হ্যান্ডস
হ্যাঁ, না, আমার হ্যান্ডসটা আমি একবার জাগিয়েছি। এটা হলো যে তপু, আমরা লেটস ফোকাস ক্রিটিক্যাল, ডু নট দিস ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট অফ বাজেট or এনিথিং। আমার জানা মতে, জাহিদ ভাই মে কারেক্ট মি, তুমি যখন একটা প্রজেক্ট স্কেজুলিং করছো, নাও ইউ আর টকিং দ্য স্কেজুলিং এন্ড হাউ দ্য অ্যাক্টিভিটিজ আর ডোন্ট টেক বাজেট এন্ড আদার থিংস ইন দ্য কনসিডারেশন। বাজেট যদি এরকম হয় যে আমাদের টাকা অ্যাপ্রুভ নাই, সো ফর এক্সাম্পল আমাদের অর্গানাইজেশন, অনেক অর্গানাইজেশন আছে যে আমাদের এত তারিখের মধ্যে এত টাকা শেষ করতে, আমরা এখন টাকা পাচ্ছি না, সো দ্যাট বিকামস এ another that will fit into the critical path. But overall critical path এর ফাংশনটাই হলো যে when you are putting the things that which one should start after which one and what is the interdependency. If the finance is an interdependency, yes, that will be there, but overall this is not the budget is not the focus is about the how the project will be executed. As a project manager, you will be successful when তুমি একটা কাজ করে বসে থাকলে, ও এখন তো উনি তো করে নাই কাজটা, অথবা আমার তো টাকা, আমি ফাইন্যান্স, আমাদের একটা সিস্টেম আছে, যদি আমার একটা প্রজেক্টের টাকা দরকার হয়, আমি যদি লাস্ট মোমেন্টে গিয়ে বলি যে এখন আমাকে টাকা পাবো না, অতএব আমার আগে আমার প্রজেক্ট চেঞ্জ কন্ট্রোল করতে হবে, এন্ড আমি পিসিটি ওইটা ইউজ করি নাই, প্রজেক্ট চেঞ্জ কন্ট্রোল করি নাই, আমি টাকা পাইনি, সো এন্ড অফ দ্য ইয়ার আমি দেখতেছি যে কন্ট্রাক্টর কাজ করছে না, বিকজ আই ক্যানট। সো you understand, the focus is on the scheduling and interdependency rather than the budget itself.
So focus should be the duration timeline, and then using the duration you will have the critical path, but there is also limitation in resources. Then after you loading the resource into the schedule, your critical path might be changed, but the first focus should be your duration dependencies. The next slide is
চ্যাটে, সরি ভাই, চ্যাটে বাশার ভাই একটা কোশ্চেন করছেন,
তুমি একটু করো, আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি না এখান থেকে।
এটা হচ্ছে উনি আস্ক করছেন যে এই সেশনটা কি ইজিবিসির এই সেশনটা সি আওয়ার্স হিসেবে কাউন্ট হবে কিনা, আর হলে কত ঘন্টার কাউন্ট হবে আর কি।
সরি, আমার মনে হয় আমরা এই ধরনের কোশ্চেনটা একদম এন্ড করি, কারণ প্রজেক্ট আমাদের কমপ্লিটটা হোক, পরে যে সময় হবে তখন আমরা অ্যাড করব, বা এগুলো আমরা উত্তর ইন রাইটিং আমরা দিতে পারবো। আমরা সরি, আমাদের অনেক ইন্টারাপশন হচ্ছে।
No, sure. The next slide, you can see the project schedule. It's like once you develop the project schedule, you can see the different activities and Gantt chart, bar chart here. There is, and these bar charts are color coded. So if you see the red ones, red, that means is a critical activity. And the yellow, that means is a baseline schedule. And the green one, these are the non-critical activities. There are so many software you can use to develop the project schedule. So this one I developed using the Primavera P6, which is more powerful project schedule software. Also, you can use the Microsoft projects and other smaller softwares. The next slide, how you can crash and fast tracking your project. I'm not going to discuss this one because we have so many things. But once you have familiar with how you can develop your project schedule, you can do these things, crashing, fast tracking, to accommodate your project activities. The next slide is you can see the program schedule. The first one you saw here, this is the schedule for one particular project. This one you see here is a program schedule. When I used to work with TransLink, so I had almost over 200 projects. So in this schedule, I created a program schedule for all 200 projects so that I can see the interdependency of different projects within my program. If you have this kind of program schedule, then you'll have better management capability. For example, in TransLink, I used to work with SkyTrain section. So আমাদের কিছু project ছিল যেমন electrical upgrade, substation upgrade, that has to be done. That project has to be done before I can go for any kind of other communication system improvement projects. So if you have this kind of program schedule, then you will have better visibility. Also, in project schedule, you have the duration. Also, you need to put the information of your resources. For each of the activities, how many manpower you need based on the resource category. So for this particular activity, maybe you need some technician, few technician, engineers, and some other project staff. So you need to load that information into your project schedule. Also the cost, how much for this activity, how much cost you need to spend. And based on your resource loading into your schedule, you'll find a resource graph. You will see the planned, what is your planned labor hour. And also every month you will see how much you are burning, manpower burning. You can put that information, actual labor hour, and how much you're remaining. So that, and you need to do it for each and every activities. It's not an easy thing. But if you have this kind of, I used to do it for my previous project. So I have planned hour, I had actual hours, I had the remaining, so I can see what is the resource allocation, resource loading of my project. And this is for single project. Also, you can do it program wise. So we had program of 200 projects. So I loaded resources for each of the projects, and I combined it and I ran a report. It's called resource loading, program resource loading. As you can see, and my plan was for the next 10 years, how much resource I need. So I found over 2 million man hour we needed in next 10 years. And how much so far we consumed, we burned. So that's kind of exercise I used to do. Resource loading, and that should come from your project schedule. So that is why project schedule is so important. And in project time management, you need to update your project schedule every month, at least. And if you work in an owner organization, you should get the different kind of update information from consultant or contractor. And you need to update your project schedule so that you can see what is the status of your project. You create a project, but you don't update and monitor. So there's going to be no point of creating your project schedule. You need to monitor and update your project schedule every reporting cycle. Other thing you can do in using your project schedule, risk analysis. Some of the scheduling tools like Primavera P6, they have a risk analyzer capability. So under risk analysis in using your project schedule, you will see, so you created a project schedule. Let's say you will be completing your project in August 24th in 2015. I took it from my previous project. So I run the resource analysis and I can find out, as far as my project schedule, my project completion date is August 24 in 2015. Now I need to see what is the probability of completion in time. And I ran the risk analysis using the Monte Carlo analysis method. And I found that I have only 80% probability that I will be achieving this completion date. So some of the organization, they define the criteria. If they see your probability is 80% or less than 80%, then you need to revise your schedule. So your probability should be more than 80% or above. So that's kind of risk analysis. In terms of schedule, also we can do that in cost. What is the probability of you will be completing your project within the budget? So that's what we do. I used to do during the risk analysis of my project. Bashar bhai, আপনার question আছে বলুন।
Question, thank you for risk analysis. Do you use any kind of software for risk analysis, or particularly এটা যেটা করছেন?
Yeah. এটা যেটা করছি সেটা হলো যে if you use the Primavera P6 Oracle product, this is the software. They have the capability of risk analysis, and it's a very robust system. You can use most perfectly use
What is the name of the software?
Primavera P6 risk analyzer.
Okay, good, thank you.
And yeah, I did this one when I used to work with C-SPAN. আমার একটা প্রজেক্ট ছিল, প্রোগ্রাম ছিল, যেটা ফেডারেল গভর্নমেন্টের কানাডিয়ান নেভির semi combat ship design and manufacturing project. It was like over $1 billion project. So our client ছিল Canadian Navy. তাদের একটা ক্রাইটেরিয়া ছিল যে the probability every month আমাদের রিস্ক অ্যানালাইসিস করতে হবে, রিস্ক অ্যানালাইসিস করে তাদেরকে জানাতে হবে যে হোয়াট ইজ দ্য প্রবাবিলিটি। তো কেন এটা করা হয় সেটা হলো যে প্রতি মাসে যদি আমরা রিস্ক অ্যানালাইসিস করি এন্ড প্রবাবিলিটি অ্যানালাইসিস করি, তাহলে আমরা দেখি যদি যে আমাদের probability less than 80%, that means we need more time to finish the project. That means we need the more budget, and we needed to defend ourselves. Why do we need more money? Why the probability is less than 80%? That means it could be because of resource shortage, because of the other things. So we needed to justify to Canadian Navy to ask for more money.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
So it is for bigger project is very important. Next is cost management. How do we manage cost? You need to estimate cost. You need to create budget. You need to control cost. These are the three main process. এই স্লাইডে আপনি দেখতে পাবেন যে different kind of cost estimate process. তো cost estimate শুরু হয় from the initiation phase. So, but the accuracy is less. More you move into the project, your accuracy of cost estimates would be more defined. So there are only three kind of cost estimate: order of magnitude, budgetary, and definitive. Next slide, the estimates accuracy. You see, the beginning of the project, the accuracy will be less. As you move forward your project, your accuracy will be more accurate. So during the detailed design process, you need to do another estimate, and that is going to be at the end of design phase, you will have more accurate estimate. In project management, we term in different way, like class C, class A, class B, class C, class C, class D estimate in different phases of project. Ideally, when design is done, we prepare all the construction documents, then our estimate is more accurate. So next step is budget. How you can create a budget. You can see on this slide, for each of the activity, you do need to estimate the cost. Then you need to put some kind of contingency. Then it goes to the work package level. Then you put another contingency. Then you have, once you have the cost estimate for work package level, then that should be your control cost or baseline cost. This is the cost you are going to control. Then this, you need to put the management reserve. Then it will give you the project budget. So always you need to remember your cost estimate is different than your project budget. Project budget should always include some kind of management reserve in addition to the contingency. And you will, as a project manager, you will be controlling your costs, not the project budget. You should be controlling the cost baseline. Let's say you have cost project budget is $1.1 million, and you're including your management reserve, and your cost estimate is 1 million. So you should be controlling $1 million, not 1.1. That 0.1 million is a management reserve. If you have very other emergency fund, this is called emergency fund, that only you can use when you actually need it. Otherwise, you should be controlling the cost baseline. During the cost management, you can, how you can manage your project cost. So you need to find out those parameters, key terms. What is your plan value? What is your earned value? What is your actual cost? What is your budgeted completion? What is your estimated completion? What is your estimate to completion? What is the variance? So these are the parameters you need to calculate from your project's status. Then you can control your cost. Once you have all the parameters, then you put those into in a graph and you can see what is the status of your project. Is it over budget or you're under budget? On this graph, you will see your plan value here, the black line, and your actual cost is your dotted line, and this is your earned value. I'm going to discuss earned value, what is your earned value later on. If you put those information, then you will see here, you plan to expand your cost. This is your graph, and your expenditure curve is here. That means you're expending more than your plan value.
Oh,
and you're earning less than what you have planned. That means your project, if the status of your project's like this, that means your project's not in good shape because you're expending more money than what you have planned. This way you can control your cost of your project. On this slide, you see the resource management. You can do project resource management in a different way. And on this slide, you can see what are the resources, man hours you need for each of this of the months. The next slide, you will see you can plan for future. So let's say you have 75 staff in your department, and you do the resource analysis. You need, for this time, you need 109, but you have 75%. So there is a deficit of 35 people here. So you can do some kind of resource analysis of your program and find out how many new people you need to hire. There's another graph you can see. You can create a graph based on of your resource for your different division of your organization. Next knowledge area is procurement management. There are several processes of procurement management. As you can see, you need to plan for procurement, conduct procurement, control procurement, and close procurement. Procurement is very important for a project manager because you need to hire consultant, vendor, contractors. Yeah. There are various kind of procurement contract types. You can see mainly fixed price contract, time and material, cost reimbursement. Under these three main contract types, there may be several other subtype of contract. As you can see, the risk of each of the contract types. You can see if you are an owner, then the fixed price contract would be better for you to reduce the risk. Yeah, based on the type of the organization you have, you can employ different kind of contract type. For the time and labor contract type, these mainly if you wanted to have a contract with consultant. Time and material, time and labor contract is mostly used contract type. Yeah, there's different kind of contract: direct purchase, indirect purchase, service purchase, good purchases. These are the different kind of procurement. Once you have selected the what kind of contract you are going to employ, you need to do the real procurement activities. You need to have RFP. You need to have IFB, invitation for bid. You need to have RFQ, request for quotation. You need to create those document and you need to post into a public area so that the public, it can be published publicly. Bashar bhai, after question. You are muted.
Okay, so the IFB, the invitation for bid, being a consultant or contractor, how should I spend up time or invest the time? Like the money, I am not getting any kind of money, right? So the how much time should I waste or invest kind of things, or IFB, invitation for bid, or RFP?
Okay, আপনি যদি কনসালটেন্ট হন, আপনি যদি সাব কন্ট্রাক্ট দিতে চান আপনার কনফারেন্সে, তাহলে আপনাকে আরএফপি, আইএফবি, আরএফকি প্রডিউস করতে হবে। কিন্তু আপনি যদি কনসালটেন্ট হন, আপনার কোনো সাব কনসালটেন্ট কেউ থাকবে না, তাহলে আপনারা ইউ ডোন্ট নিড টু প্রিপেয়ার দোজ ডকুমেন্টস. Those documents are mainly for the owner organization. As a consultant, you just participate to respond to those things.
Okay, good, thank you.
Mujib bhai. Mujib bhai, you are muted.
Sorry, if you allow me, can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
So the request for proposal and request for quotation, let's talk these two. আমি যেটা বুঝি, যেটা আমি অনেক অর্গানাইজেশনে দেখেছি, এটার বেসিক ডিফারেন্সটা হলো, আমরা অ্যাজ এ ওনার, আমার কাছে তো অত এক্সপার্টিস নেই, যেটা হয়তো একজন কনসালটেন্টের কাছে আছে বা তারা জানবে। আমরা ওনারের কাছে তো অনেক মাল্টিফারেন্স, সো তখন আমরা দেখি যে আমরা we have not enough knowledge to provide the scope and detail out all those things. Then we ask proposal, we request ask করি প্রপোজালের জন্য। যখন the proposal দেয়, they define, because they have a more knowledge and capacity and all those things, they're expert on this field. That is, on the contrary, যখন আমরা we know there's a very defined scope, we know exactly, say I have to do a survey of water crossings, or আপনাকে ওইখানে একটা বিল করতে হবে, you know exactly, you have done this 20 times, so you just say this is my scope, this is what, this is the time frame, this is what you will need, and what is your price, and that is called request for quotation and request for proposal. But in the invitation for bid is a really a because now when you say request for quotation and request for proposal, there is a requirement of, if you are something, a price is a consideration, somebody can sue you, especially if you're a public organization and you didn't give somebody the project, he gave you a price, but you didn't give the project, you gave the project to somebody else, he can sue you and say, oh no, and there have been a lot of lawsuit. So that's why invitation for a bid is somewhere you want to negotiate. It is not the lowest price. Say Portman tunnel that the Metro Vancouver will be doing. So it is not, because price is not the criteria. And also they like to have the options of negotiating multiple parts. So these are the high level of my understanding. Jahid bhai, you may correct me.
হ্যাঁ, আপনি ঠিকই বলছেন। For RFP, if we don't have any expertise in-house, then we always invite the consultant to write a proposal for us. But most of the time, as a project manager, you need to know about what you will be doing. So if you can write the RFP, that will be great. But if you don't know, if there is a lot of uncertainty, then always based on the feasibility study, you can also hire a consultant to write the RFP for you. But as a consultant, if you want to subcontract your consultancy to the other consultants, then you solely need to write the RFP document. Actually, each of the slide need to have a lot of discussion, but because of the time constraint, like I'm just not discussing in details. Yeah, so you can see the different step of procurement. If you consider the procurement process flow, these are the flow. You can create purchase order, you can send RFQ, analyze the vendor, receive invoice, and negotiate PO, and pay vendor, then keep recording. These are the basically main flows of your procurement process. The next slide is the procurement management. Is to, when you write a contract, before signing your contract, what are the requirements from your vendor or consultant you need to have? So you can see different types of contract. Depends on the phase of the project, whether it can be planning, design, construction. You need to have different kind of documentation. You need to have certificate from insurance. You need to have certificates of bonds. You need to have infection control plan and other requirements. Without having those documents, you cannot sign a contract. And what kind of agreement you need to use when you sign a contract? For consultancy, mainly EIBC agreement type. EIBC means Architectural Institute of British Columbia. So they have the agreement type. Those are the agreement type you need to use. CCDC is another organization. You need to use those kind of agreement type. Yeah, so based on contract, you need to use different agreement type. Also, you need to have different kind of documentation from your vendor. Without that, you cannot sign a contract. So this is a very useful table to have. Based on your organization, you can create this kind of contract requirement checklist. So what are the things I need before I sign a contract? Once you have all the things done, your work has been done, you can close your contract. You need to pay all the money to your vendors. Then you can also do some inspections. If you see all the projects works have been done with the specification, then you can close your contract. Then you can close your project. You cannot close your project without closing your contract. So you need to first close your contracts, then you can close your project. Another thing is in procurement, like it's called project delivery method. So project delivery method is how you are going to deliver your project. It's different than contract type. So it's a different thing. There are 4 different kind of project delivery method: design, bid, build, design, build, CM at risk, construction manager at risk, and IPD, integrated project delivery method. I'm not going to go details of those method, but basically in the design, build, bid, build method, so there will be one, you need to do that, select the vendor for design first, then it should go to the bidding, then you select your contractor. So there will be at least 2 or 3 vendors. In design build, so there will be one or vendor who will design and build your project. So you don't need to go for bidding for construction. You just select one vendor who will design and construct your project. CM at risk, nowadays CM at risk is more widely used, more preferable, because you can have better coordination and better management of your project. So during in this CM at risk delivery method, you select your designer, then after selection of designer, you right away after selecting your designer, you can select a CM consultant, construction manager consultant. That consultant will work with the designer and design your work, design the project work that will be more accurate design, so that you will have later less change order during the construction. So, and also you can deliver your project relatively in shorter time if you use the CM at risk delivery method, rather than you're having design, build, bid, build, design, build delivery methods. So as a project manager or program manager, you need to think about which delivery method you are going to be using. If you don't have much time, it's better to use that CM at risk delivery method. Okay, so the project risk management. So risk are one of the management area you need to deal with. Actually, if you can manage project risk, remember that no project will be in this earth, in this planet, without any risk. Every project must have some or many projects. So if you manage the project risk efficiently, then you will be managing your project successfully. So what is the risk? Risk is the uncertainty. It can be positive or negative risk. It will have the cause and consequences. During the risk management, you will see you need to follow different kind of steps. Most importantly, you need to identify risk and do some kind of risk analysis, risk mitigation plan. You need to monitor risk, and you need to manage the risk, prioritize and risk. All you can do creating a risk register. I'm going to show to the next slide. Okay, I'm going to skip some of the slides because of the time. You can create a risk register here, like this, or like this. You will have risk identification, risk probability, impact, what would be your risk, response type, who will be responsible to manage those risks. This kind of register you can create. And based on your risk register, you can prioritize managing your risk. Yeah, so in risk, I mentioned the risk will be two types. One is the opportunity, one is threat. So you can employ different kind of strategy to deal with those kind of risk. You can avoid your risk, you can transfer your risk, mitigate, accept. Based on the impact of your risk, you can have different kind of strategy. For example, transfer, how you can transfer your risk. If you work in a owner organization, how we contract out, why we hired the consultant, why we hired the any other vendor, because we just want to transfer our risk to a consultant. So this is one of the way you can transfer the project risk to another party. This is the one of the example how you can deal with your project. Also, you can use different kind of analysis of your project delivery. What are the root causes of your project risk? You can find out the root cause, and based on your root cause, then you can deal with the risk. Also, you can create this kind of risk summary, number of active risk, number of based on the risk status. You can create this kind of summary, and if your project is a larger project, you need to create that in every month. You can also list the top 10 risk of your project based on what is the impact of those risk, probability, schedule impact, cost impact, mitigation, response strategy. You can create those kind of table. Now I am actually in the another area, which is called project control. So during the project control execution, at the same time, you need to control your project. Otherwise, you will not be able to manage your project. So you need to control the performance, time, cost, and you need to see what is the project health, how your project is doing in terms of time, cost, resource, scope, quality, and other metrics. So you need to find those things, and you need to continuously monitor and control those metrics while you are managing your project. In your execution phase, you can control the project in many different ways. For example, you can create some kind of graph, plan versus assigned labor based on work package, how many people you have assigned and how many you need. Also, you can create a graph, work hours, how many work you have, regular hours, wartime hours, unassigned hours. For example, another way, you can create a graph. What are the activities you are completed in time? And what are the how many late activities you have? What are the critical activities you have? And what are how many you have the non-critical activities? So if you create this kind of graph, then you will have, that what is the status of your project, how you are doing managing project. In terms of cost baseline, are you exceeding the cost baseline budget or no? You can create this kind of thing. Also, you can create the change order, number of change order you have in your project, how many you approved, how many you denied, how many change order you need to work on. So you can create this kind of information graph. Yeah, I'm not going to discuss all of them. Okay. One thing here, so you can also create another indicator matrix here. What is your cost performance index? What is your schedule performance index? Usually your CPI or SPI should be more than 1. If your cost performance, your SPI, schedule performance indicator should be more than 1, and your cost performance indicator should be less than 1. So how you're going to calculate your CPI and SPI? That needs time to explain. So I'm not going to discuss, but as a project manager, you should know what is the CPI, SPI. Also, you need to know what is your estimate at completion. So for each month, each reporting cycle, you need to calculate, you need to forecast your cost, how much money you need at the end of your project. So that estimation called estimate at completion. And you need to compare what is your budget at completion, initial budget, and how much more money or less money you need to complete your project based on your current status of your project. These are the parameters you need to calculate, or metrics you need to calculate to control your project. Earn schedule, task variance, what is your ETC, what is your schedule variance, what is your schedule performance, what is earned value in terms of your cost, what is your ESC, what is your cost variance, what is your cost performance indicators. So these are the things you need to calculate when you control your project. But as a project manager, you don't need to know all the details how you can calculate those things. You should have other person like the project controller, project scheduler, or other project leads. So they will help you. They will be helping you to find out those parameters. But at least you should know. You need to have those metrics ready for each reporting cycle. If you can calculate these things, these parameters, you can put those into a graph and you can see the status. You have planned value from your project schedule. Because your project schedule is a cost loaded schedule, you can find out every month how much money you need to spend. Then from your accounting division, you can find out how much you are paying, expending each month. You can get information from your accounting division. And how much earned value you have. So what is the earned value? Earned value is there's a formula for earned values. Planned value and your multiply your physical percent complete. So you calculate your earned value. So your planned value here, you have, let's say you need to spend $1,000 of this month, and you have the physical percent complete. From the construction site, construction manager told you that you have 50% done. So you multiply your planned value with your physical percent complete, then you can calculate your earned value. So each and every month you need to calculate your earned value. So you can if you compare those three information and put into a graph, you can see the whole picture of your project status. On this graph, you see you're spending more money than you plan, and you're earning less than what you have planned. That means your project is not in good condition. You have schedule variance. You are well behind your schedule. You have cost overrun. That means your cost variance, you have spending more money than you have budgeted. So if you can create this kind of information for your project, then you will see, and if you see this every month, then you will have a better idea what you need to be doing to reduce your cost variance, to reduce your schedule variance. So then you can replan and bring your project in line. That's the beauty of creating this kind of earned value analysis. Okay, so the next is a different kind of also you can do for each purchase order. You can see every month how much money you can spending. Also, you can see every month how many activities you plan to complete, how much you are actually completing. This kind of analysis always you can do while you control your project. And on the next slide, the PM templates. You can create different kind of templates while you're managing your project. I'm not going to read. You can see here. If you want, I can share your these slides to the group so everybody can have that. You can create different kind of templates for your project. The last thing you need to do, the other thing you need to do, create a report. As a project manager, you will be spending a huge amount of time to developing project status report. So nowadays, we use different kind of project management systems to create different kind of dashboard report. That will have different kind of information, your schedule information, scope information, cost information, risk information. You can see some sample of project status report. Also, you can see here different kind of dashboard report. And you need to provide those reports to your executive steering committee, and you need to discuss those reports each and every reporting cycle. The another thing I would like to discuss, this is called PM system, project management system. There is a trend right now to use different kind of automated project management system. 10, 15, or 20 years ago, we used to use the very manual process. Word files, maybe Excel files. Still, we are using some Excel files, but the new trend is we are moving into the automated project management systems. And as you can see, in 2022, over $6.6 billion were spent in developing different kind of project management system. And there's a growing trend. So IT companies are rushing to, IT and software companies are rushing to develop different kind of project management software systems. And we are bigger organization, they are trying to utilize those kind of softwares. You can see in current market, there are many PM systems, automated PM systems. The most likely Smartsheet, Oracle, Jira, OnePlan, Monday.com. These are the PM systems. And yeah, so right now I am working on to implement the Oracle Unifier system. As you can see, the Oracle system has integrate information, 60 business process. It has over 300 reporting dashboards. It can use the 8 different languages. You can manage unlimited projects. So there's a lot of good things, a lot of capability if to manage your project, manage your programs if you use the project management system. But you need to spend some money. For example, if you want to implement the Oracle systems, at least you need to spend $. It's not cheap, but end of the day, you'll be saving a lot of your capital projects cost. Another thing that most of the bigger organizations, they're moving into enterprise-wide management. E is called ERP. So as I mentioned before, during the implementation management, so this is the part of project integration management. So many organizations, bigger organizations, they're employing enterprise resource planning system. They are integrating different process, different systems into one platform. They are integrating procurement activity, finance activity, project management systems, analytical systems, performance management, risk management, human resource management, those into one platform. So one of my responsibility in my current organization to implement a project management system. Also, eventually, I'll be moving into enterprise resource planning system so that we can have all integrated into one place. Yeah, so this is the current trends.
সামি ভাই,
Any
question
question?
আছে, মানে একটা কোশ্চেন আছে আসলে চ্যাট উইন্ডোতে, সেটা আসলে বলতেছে যে জেনারেটিভ এআই এই প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট এরিয়াগুলোকে কিভাবে ইমপ্যাক্ট করতে পারে, অথবা আমরা এআই এর কিভাবে আসলে অ্যাডভান্টেজ নিতে পারি প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্টের জন্য। আচ্ছা, আর এটা এখন বাজে হচ্ছে 12টা, মানে 12:51, মানে আমাদের লোকাল টাইম।
আমি 5 মিনিটের মধ্যে ডান করে ফেলবো, তারপরে যদি
আচ্ছা
কারো কোশ্চেন থাকলে সেটা।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
হ্যাঁ, এটা গুড কোশ্চেন। AI would be a huge impact on those PM system or ERP system. We are all there will be a module for each of the system that going to be used into those systems. So yeah, we are going to utilize AI into those kind of PM system, and this is going to be huge impact for us. Maybe our project manager, they don't need to spend that much of time to managing the project. Yeah, so there's a huge opportunity for us to include the AI into those PM system or ERP systems. Okay, so basically I am done. I need to show one more thing. Job opportunity. At Fraser Health, I'm working in Fraser Health Facility Management Division. We have, every week, we have almost 50 opportunities open. So if you are interested, we are having difficulties to find the qualified staff. So as you can see this week, we have almost 50 openings. So if you...
Do you need a geotech engineer?
No.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, we need power engineer, we need maintenance engineer. So
Naima Yasmin has raised her hand.
Yeah, and under my, I'll be hiring 2 person. project
ভাই
lead, PSRO,
ভাই
project control
নাইমা
lead.
হাত উঠেছে উঠেছে
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
জি
আমি আসতেছি।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম। জি
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম
ভাইয়া
নাইমা।
ভাই জি ভাইয়া সেটাই আমার কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল যে এখন যে নতুন যে পজিশনস গুলো হচ্ছে ইভেন ইন দ্য জব মার্কেট গিভেন দ্যাট আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স আসছে এন্ড এখনো কি কিছু শুরু হয়েছে আপনাদের এন্ডে বা এনি ধরনের এনি প্রোগ্রামস অর এনি কি বলে সফটওয়্যার বা ম্যানেজমেন্ট কিছু যেটাতে আমরা ইউজ করে লাইক হ্যাভিং leveraging developing our skills for this sort of potential positions আর কি
In my organization হয়নি এখনো, but if you can see Oracle Unifier 1 plan, they already included AI into their system. That's what I know. But my organization এখনো AI টা আমরা এখনো ইউজ করতেছি না, but in future we'll be using the AI.
so thank you ভাইয়া
No worries. I am done. So if you have any question, please let me know. We can spend 5-10 minutes if you have any questions.
আচ্ছা, থ্যাংক ইউ জাহিদ ভাই। মানে আমার ভাই আপনার ইয়ার জন্য আসলে এটা খুবই ব্রড একটা টপিক, লাইক প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট
আসলে এই
টপিক।
শর্ট সময় হয় না আর কি।
হ্যাঁ, আসলে ইভেন দেখা যায় যে বিভিন্ন মানে ইউনিভার্সিটিতে বা কলেজে এটা কোর্স হিসাবে অফার করে, সেটা 3 মাস 4 মাস লম্বা আসলে কোর্স, বিভিন্ন মানে যে সাবসেকশন গুলো আছে, ইভেন মানে এজাইল প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট, সেটার উপরই আসলে অনেক বিশাল বড় লেকচার দেওয়া যায়। সো প্রত্যেকটাই হচ্ছে ছোট ছোট, মানে যে স্লাইড গুলো ছিল প্রত্যেকটাই আসলে এক্সপান্ড করলে কয়েকটা লেকচার হয়ে যাওয়ার কথা আসলে। আচ্ছা, আমাদের হাতে আসলে খুব অল্প সময় আছে, আমরা এখন আসলে মানে অডিয়েন্স থেকে হয়তো বা একটা কোশ্চেন আসলে নিতে পারি, তারপর আমরা সেশনটা ক্লোজ করবো, কারো যদি কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকে।
হ্যাঁ, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল যে পিএমপি সার্টিফিকেশনটা এই ক্ষেত্রে কতটুকু জরুরি ভাই প্রজেক্ট জব গুলার ক্ষেত্রে পাওয়ার ক্ষেত্রে?
গুড কোশ্চেন। আসলে হয়েছে কি যে পিএমপি সার্টিফিকেশন বা পিএম প্রিন্স টু সার্টিফিকেশন, আনাদার প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট সার্টিফিকেশন, those are good to have. কিন্তু at the end of the day, you need to have experience, you need to have knowledge,
রাইট
because
রাইট প্র্যাকটিক্যালি নলেজটা এক্সপিরিয়েন্সটা থাকা খুব জরুরি আমার কাছে মনে হয়, কারণ এগুলো প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট মোর অফ এন প্র্যাকটিক্যাল এক্সপিরিয়েন্স বেসড। আপনি শুরুতেও যেটা বলেছিলেন যে আর্ট অফ সায়েন্স, ইউ হ্যাভ টু নো দ্য how to deal with the people and how to solve the problem. That is very important.
আর হলো কথা হলো যে তুমি পিএমপি পাস করতে পারো, তুমি ধরো 10 দিন একটু পড়াশোনা করে পিএমপি এক্সাম তুমি পাস করে ফেলতে পারো।
রাইট রাইট
কিন্তু আমি দেখছি যে আমার লাইফে মানে এক্সপেরিয়েন্সে পিএমপি আছে অনেক দিনের কাজ, মানে অনেকদিন আগে পিএমপি পাস করছে কিন্তু এখনো কিছু জানে না আর কি।
রাইট।
ভাইয়া আমার একটা কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল।
জি
ভাইয়া, এই প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্টের জবগুলোর ক্ষেত্রে আমরা যারা একাডেমিয়াতে গ্রাজুয়েট স্টুডেন্ট আছি, মাস্টার্স বা পিএইচডি যারা করছেন, তো তাদেরকেও কিন্তু কিছু একাডেমিক প্রজেক্ট ডিল করতে হয় টু লার্জ এক্সটেন্ট, স্পেশালি পিএইচডি স্টুডেন্ট যারা, তারা 4-5 বছর একটা প্রজেক্ট নিয়েই আসলে পড়ে থাকে। তো এই জব ফিল্ডে আসলে এই একাডেমিক প্রজেক্ট এক্সপিরিয়েন্স গুলোকে কতটুকু ইভ্যালুয়েশন দেওয়া হয়, কতটুকু মূল্যায়ন করা হয়?
না, মূল্যায়ন তো অবশ্যই করা হয়, কারণ হলো যে তুমি যদি প্রপার প্রসিডিউর মানে ফলো করো প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্টের, তাহলে এনিথিং ক্যান বি এ প্রজেক্ট। তুমি যদি একটা ধরো তুমি একটা যে তুমি একটা নতুন গাড়ি কিনবা, সেটাও ইট ক্যান বি এ প্রজেক্ট। বাট ইফ ইউ প্ল্যান ইন এ বেটার ওয়ে, ইন এ রাইট অ্যাপ্রোচ, then you'll have the better knowledge. এখন তুমি যদি প্রজেক্ট একটা করো, সেটা কোনো প্ল্যানিং নাই, তোমার এক্সিকিউশন প্ল্যান নাই, তোমার কন্ট্রোলিং নাই, then you'll not be learning anything. So এটা নামমাত্রই প্রজেক্ট হবে, কিন্তু তুমি হয়তো দেখা যাবে তুমি প্রজেক্টটা ঠিক মতো শেষ করতে পারতেছো না। Anything can be a project. Anything can be considered as an project management experience if you follow the proper procedure. And এখন তুমি যদি এটা কনসিডার অবশ্যই করবে, কিন্তু ইন্টারভিউ সময় যখন তোমার ইন্টারভিউ যারা নিবে তারা যদি কোশ্চেন করলে ওরা তোমার অ্যান্সার শুনে বুঝতে পারবে যে তুমি আসলে আসলে তোমার নলেজ কত, এক্সপিরিয়েন্স কত প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট। আর তুমি ইন্টারভিউ যদি পাশ করেও গেলা, তোমার কাজে ঢুকলা, তখন ওরা 1-2 মাসেই বুঝে ফেলবে যে আসলে জানে কি জানে না, সেটা ওই 1-2 মাসেই বুঝে ফেলে আর কি। তো
আচ্ছা,
আচ্ছা, থ্যাংক ইউ আনোয়ার জাহিদ ভাই এই সেশনটা রান করার জন্য। মানে টাইম কনস্ট্যান্টের জন্য আমাদের আসলে এখানেই শেষ করা লাগছে, কিন্তু আনোয়ার জাহিদ ভাইয়ের আসলে লিঙ্কডইন প্রোফাইল আমাদের BECBCর ওয়েবসাইটে আছে। তো কেউ যদি ফার্দার ডিসকাস করতে চায় এই টপিকে, প্লিজ ফিল ফ্রি টু কন্ট্যাক্ট Anoar Jahid bhai via LinkedIn. Thank you very much for your participation, and we look forward to seeing you at our future event. Thank you.
থ্যাংক ইউ
Thank
everybody.
you, Khaled, এবং Eva for arranging, and Jahid bhai for wonderful, very intriguing, knowledgeable presentations. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.